Working remotely can be a challenge, especially for teams that are new to it. How do you deal with your work environment being the same as home while staying productive? At a time when teams must come together more than ever to solve big challenges, Trello's here to help. Trello, part of Atlassian's collaborative suite, has been powering remote teams globally for almost a decade. Trello keeps everyone on the same page, helping teams communicate, focus, and connect. Try Trello for free and learn more at Trello.com. That's Trello.com.
Dan and Ren and Jay will share tales of folks so unaware they lack in grace and sometimes choose the life they choose will make the news. Breaking down each epic fail in Florida, there's half-price bail. I'm happy to say they couldn't make this up. So listen to our podcast jam with co-hosts Arm and Dan. Members, don't be a jerk, cause when the music hits, the funny hits, and we are gonna take you down. Stick around. Make a sound, hunker down, it's Dumb People Town.
Hey, Townies, welcome to a mini episode of Dumb People Town. Population you?
Population Jammerz.
We have the Jammerz podcast in here, and we are so excited, Megan.
And Wendi.
And Wendi. And Wendi. And Megan.
Hi, guys.
How are you guys?
We're so good. Everything's great.
Are we
fine.
allowed to admit that you guys do it coast to coast, or are we supposed to keep that a secret?
I mean, it is a serious secret, but we'll allow it
Right.
on.
All right, so
this is an exclusive. This is a Dumb People Town exclusive.
Guys, we're scooping. We're
Here's the
scooping.
scoop. You guys do a podcast that is fantastic. You were telling us about it. We love it. And also the idea that you guys, one of you is in New York, Wendy,
Yes.
and Megan,
Megan's
you were here in
here.
Los Angeles. You guys are best friends, but you do a podcast. We have you both in the same room, so that's kind of a joy.
Yeah.
It's a
Tell
gift.
our listeners what they can expect when they listen, because they're going to come directly from this and straight to a Jammerz
They're going to just start
app.
subscribing to
To a
Jammerz right now.
Jammerz app. They're going to jam on over to a Jammerz app. What are they going to expect?
Man, it gets real crazy over there. We basically just...
Does shit get real?
Oh, it's like the real world. Don't you
Is
remember
shit
that show?
about to get real
Yeah.
at any moment?
Shit gets real.
It's constantly getting realer.
Oh, okay.
Almost too real.
Okay. But you guys set challenges for each other and
our listeners.
And your
That's
listeners.
most important, that
And
they
then-
participate.
And then you, it's like a week of no drinking or a week of trying to make a good decision for
Doing
Tell us your
yoga.
dreams.
Yeah, that was the last one.
Yes.
People really liked that. We kept a dream journal because I went to and go back and listen to it, but I went to a psychic and found out that in my most recent past life, I was a Chinese hooker demon, and she's still in me.
Chinese hooker demon still in you?
Yeah, so that was a whole thing, and it still is a thing because I don't have my crystals on me.
What?
But
Or in you.
How dare
yeah.
you?
Oh, they are inside of my body.
Yeah,
okay.
that's the safest
That's
place
not
for
on.
them at all
You got some
times.
crystals up in you, girl?
You know it.
You got some crystals up in you, girl?
Yeah, they expand, and when they come out, they're little dinosaurs.
Oh, you guys.
That's so fun. Well, I'm sure you guys are aware of this, as you have evidence across the whole country. The world's getting dumber.
World is getting dumber.
We are trying to fight the stupidity with comedy, and there's only one way to do it, and that's to break down ridiculous true crime stories that Dan gets sent to him, though none of us have heard.
Sometimes
we
they're
don't
even
know.
not a crime. They're just dumb.
Sometimes it's just dumb
sometimes
behavior.
it's
People getting
stupidity.
engaged in a Chipotle.
Yeah, we're trying
That's
to...
romantic.
Is
That's
that
modern romance.
Thank you.
Okay.
These guys dig that.
Can I get
Megan's
extra
like-
sour cream and you for the rest of my life?
Oh, Dan stole the
Yes, in a
hot sauce.
heartbeat. You kidding me? Paying for that guacamole? Come on.
God, that's
No
beautiful.
cilantro, though. Please, no cilantro.
Danny, would you have a story?
Yeah, we do.
Do it.
You ready?
Let's get
Yes.
it. We have these ladies here. Let's get into one.
Okay. Raccoons bust into Toronto woman's home and get confrontational.
Okay.
Okay.
Have you come
That's
face
just
to
the
face with
headline.
There are no raccoons
No,
in...
Thank you for pronouncing it correctly, by the way.
Raccoons.
I just want to get that
There are
clear
no
first off.
raccoons in New York City. We lived in New York City. They just don't
Wait,
exist.
raccoons?
Raccoons.
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 I heard like scratching
Trash
outside of my
pandas.
house, and I was put my son to sleep, and he was asleep, and I heard scratch, 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 and I looked up out the shade, and I saw some like things moving. I took the flashlight on my cell phone and shined it out the window. 5 raccoons climbing up a tree, scratching on a tree, turned and looked at me like, "What do you want, bitch?" Like they didn't move.
Yeah,
they
they're gonna
weren't
get
scared by me
confrontational.
lighting a thing. They're gonna be confrontational.
They have personalities.
Well, city raccoons are
Oh,
cool.
yeah.
Well, they're eating all the chemicals and all the food. So
Right.
they're
All our
amped
drugs.
up.
They're eating all the drugs we're
Maybe
shitting out
they've
of our
got
bodies.
Some of them
Chinese
have gone-
demon hookers inside of them.
Yeah.
Oh, they for sure do.
Get them
And
some
then-
crystals.
Right.
But city raccoons, some of them have gone keto. Like there's some keto raccoons
Right.
who are like, I want the fat, I don't want the sugar.
Right. Well, and especially if they're going to be committing crimes, what happens when you
Sure.
do that? You get your photo taken. Jay, you got your. They think you're paparazzi.
Yeah, Jay, they
do
think
think I
you're
was
trying to like
paparazzi. I
blow
was
up
just-
their spot. Here's
Right.
the deal. I saw a raccoon outside my house, and
He said, "Are you gramming this?" I was like, "What? What do you mean?"
he said,
should've.
just make sure you get my handle right.
I'm like, I might story it, and then he gave me another look. Why not on the main page? I'm like, I don't know.
Well, let's go over here in front of this pink wall if you're going to take it.
It's the Paul Smith wall. Get on it.
Can I see it, please? No, they just look like their sweaters don't fit. Like they just look like their skin is just way too big. Like they look like every raccoon looks like they borrowed their boyfriend's sweater.
You know what I love?
Right. Well, that's why they're on the keto diet. Stuff like that. You're body
Yeah.
shaming
Yeah.
raccoons.
I'm
You
not
think-
body shaming. I'm just like
No,
get
he is. He
get a
is.
sweater
That
that
sounded
fits.
like
Get
body
him,
shaming.
Wendy,
Get a
get
sweater.
him.
You think raccoons don't listen to this and have feelings?
It's
We have a
fashion
high-
shaming. It's just as bad as
Look,
body
get a
shaming.
sweater that fits.
And it's called athleisure. It's a style. all
Okay,
right?
I get that.
Leisure.
Every time I think of raccoons, I think of that, what would you call it? F story from The Great Outdoors, the movie with John Candy, where there's like a whole storyline of these raccoons.
Yep.
Oh, that's
Yep.
right.
And I'm always imagining either the writer or they had some producer who was like, had to shoehorn this in.
Had a vendetta against raccoons
Just
and
was
was
like,
like,
hey, man,
yeah,
as long- I understand we got to get down to 83 minutes, but we cannot lose
And
this
the
raccoon
studio's like,
storyline.
can-
Sorry,
the
man,
studio's
hey, man,
like,
this
listen-
has nothing to do with the
Studio's
rest
like,
of the
we gotta
It
get-
script.
has nothing to do with
But
that.
rid
so we
of it.
got to lose it, man. We got to cut it. And
Every
he's
night
like,
they
no.
cut to it, and there's like a whole storyline about these raccoons commentating on the people
So
living in
I
the
think
cabin.
that was a function of, hey, there was a gopher in Caddyshack. Let's do that version here.
Could be a little bit of that,
Yeah.
little fallout, little
Success.
caddy fallout.
Yeah.
They're
I was
also-
thinking maybe that's the story that needs to be told.
Yes,
You know?
the sequel
The
should
raccoon
be
story
just
is
them, and
what
that's
we
the
need.
one they.
That's
All right,
the one they don't want you to
happened
know,
to this
Megan.
lady? What happened to this crazy
This was sent in by Catherine Tuck at Catherine Lorna, KATHERINE
Cat Tuck? She sends a lot of stuff into us. We love her.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Catherine.
Thank you.
It was a night like any other night.
Who is
when
writing this?
I hate this. Thank you.
like the
I
beginning of
absolutely.
It's like the
Already.
beginning of the
Is this a
Haggadah
sexy
in,
novel?
Like, Passover.
Yeah, I was
know.
going to say, is this from
Is this
Playboy?
50 Shades of Grey? I feel like this is the opening.
Like
Like,
any other
Danielle
night.
Steele wrote this,
that, there it is.
and my
There
grandma
it is.
will read it.
Was Dakota Fanning in 50 Shades of Grey? Am I wrong to say
No,
that?
it was
No,
it was Melanie Griffith's daughter, right?
Yeah, Dakota Johnson.
Yeah, it was Dakota Fanning. Oh, no. That's a very different
That's
film
a
that you
different-
have to buy on the
She's
dark
like a
web.
9-year-old.
That is
All right.
Man
Yeah.
on Fire.
Yeah.
Why is this
Again,
shot with
I think
just a cell
sexier.
phone?
I think much sexier.
Both title could have worked for either one. Man on Fire could have been 50 Shades. 50 Shades could have been that Denzel
This
flick.
man is on fire.
That's how it goes. Okay. It was a night like any other when raccoons made their move. As though they'd been plotting. As though raccoons are like the raccoons in Great Outdoors. They're like, you know what we're doing tomorrow? They don't care. They just go where opportunity
Hold
is.
on, full stop. Maybe these are the same
would be
raccoons
great.
from,
From
Great
Great
Outdoors.
Like,
Outdoors.
we
They,
only
they
did
live in
that.
Hollywood.
Yeah.
They got their big break, screwed it all up.
Yep.
Now
love
they're
it.
doing whatever these raccoons are doing.
Well, but okay, I will say this: coyotes, they are.
You and your animal
I
pronunciation.
love it. I love it.
It's
I
a
feel
coyote.
like kinship right now.
Thank you. Coyotes.
Just call them Yotes while you're at it.
Yotes.
Also fine with that.
They do plan like ambush
Yotes be
attacks.
scheming.
Yotes be scheming, straight scheming. Like
Yotes
you-
are trifling.
I'll tell you guys about the time I was in Hawaii and I swam with a dolphin. Yeah, I can swim with a dolphin.
Are you kicking it with the dolphins?
Well, then I watched the Cove and I will never swim with a
Hey,
dolphin
listen,
again.
don't swim with the dolphins. But I'm saying yotes be scheming because you'll see like a yote with like pretending to have like a leg injury, and you follow it around the corner, and they're like a pack of yotes,
And then he's
ready to
he
pounce.
doesn't really have a leg. All right, so these raccoons planned their attack when
Right.
they came into this woman's house.
Toronto resident Jenny, you're going to have to help me here.
Oh, geez.
SERWYLO. Sir Wilo?
Sir Willow.
Sir Willow.
Sir Willow?
Sir Willow?
Sir Willow.
I don't know.
That's a beautiful name.
Yeah.
Sounds like a fairy.
She had enjoyed a quiet evening at home Tuesday and
He's
had
about
gone
to grant someone 3 wishes.
and had gone to bed when she was startled awake by noises coming from her kitchen. Do you guys go investigate or do you call right away?
Okay, can I have a
You go
raccoon?
9-1.
I have a
and then
raccoon.
go down there?
I have a raccoon story
Okay.
in my life.
Okay.
My wife and I, when we were just dating, and her parents had a house out in Long Island, and it was off season, so it wasn't the summertime, and people weren't out there, and they weren't in the house because they were down. Parents were down in Florida, living in their Florida house, so no one was in the house for a long time, just except for a caretaker. We come in and we find like a bunch of paw prints around. They had come down the chimney, and we were like,
Santa
okay,
style.
down the chimney. We looked everywhere. There were no raccoons, none. Okay, we check everything. The entire all the food that was in the kitchen had been rummaged through. So they had the raccoons had planned it and done their thing and gone through it. Raccoons. We looked everywhere, and we were like, okay, no raccoons here. We looked everywhere. We go to sleep.
Do not like this. No, thank you.
We wake up the next morning, and there is fresh raccoon shit in the sink. That wasn't there the night before. So we're like, the raccoons were in the house while we were sleeping.
I'm bored. I thought you were going to say in the bed.
Yeah.
And I was
in the
I'm
bed.
like not excited about the story anymore.
So I put on my wife's sweater. No, but we were like scared shitless because we're like, I can't believe we checked everywhere and they were gone, and then they were there. And then the guy who came over, who was kind of like the caretaker, I imagine.
He was like, there ain't raccoons anymore. There was a raccoon that lived here, but he died 200 years ago.
You've always been here, Mr. Sklar.
So I imagine that like his wife
It's like a photo of Randy from 1918 next to a raccoon.
I imagine that his wife was killed by raccoons, and in the movie, the horror movie of the raccoon, he's the first one to die. Of course, he's the first one to go.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say he's the one shitting in the sink.
And he
That's
can
raccoon
shit tiny raccoon shit.
Yeah.
All right. So she hears noises coming from her kitchen. The culprit, 3 raccoons, had broken through her window screen. The target, this person is way into this.
A
This is like a
baby.
treatment more than a story. Yeah.
Yeah, would that be great?
I'm going to pose a question, and then am I posing questions? Yes,
Yes,
I
I
am. Am I answering questions?
Yes,
You bet.
I am.
You'll find out.
We're being tricked into pitching this woman's
It
movie.
literally is written like a Brody Stevens sentence.
You got
The
it.
culprit, 3 raccoons. The target, her bed. Yes.
You got it.
I've seen a raccoon on Hazeltine.
Raccoon.
Followed it down to Ventura, rolled on over to Moore Park.
Stood in line at Marie Callender's.
You got
Big
it.
party of raccoons. All right, here we go. Leaping into action with a broom, Jenny made enough of a commotion that 2 of the bandits decided the goods weren't worth it. But
Let's not label
What
them
are
bandits
goods?
because they look like
Well,
they
they did
have
break
It
bandits.
is
You're wrong.
raccoonist. It's very
It is
raccoonist.
very raccoonist.
But the 3rd raccoon simply stared at her
That's
from
what I'm talking about.
behind her
I've
toaster
seen
oven,
that.
defiantly gnawing on her English muffins.
That's right.
That son of a
That's
bitch.
There's a picture of this raccoon looking
Like
at
that?
her like, what motherfucker?
What?
You like that?
Right?
I want to
That's
see
what
this
I'm-
picture. Thank you.
I've seen these eyes, Dan. I've seen
He's
these
treating
eyes.
this toaster oven like a chaise lounge.
Wait, should you not look at this picture? Might you flash back?
It's a trigger
To that
for me,
dark
but
moment?
I know that it's
Let's
coming,
go.
so
Come on.
Or
I'm
like
ready.
the little caption will be like, I ate so much bread. You ready for this?
Look
Look at it.
He looks like he loves the English muffin so much. He's like, it's
Oh
my
my
toaster
God.
oven
I know,
now.
he's like, how much for this toaster oven?
It's a real good one. It toasts the shit out of the muffin.
love it.
Oh, I love this.
I love him.
Oh,
He's
see,
so
that's what happened.
cute.
He's probably
So
been
cute.
on keto, like all
Right.
these other Hollywood
Right.
raccoons,
Yeah.
Right.
and he's just so hungry.
Cheat day.
It's a cheat day.
This
Yeah.
is from Jenny. Quote, he was like, I'm eating here. Get out of here. That's
I don't
what
think
she
he
said.
was like that,
Yeah.
Jenny.
I think he was very definitely said that. He wasn't like anything.
Right. Eventually.
He said it.
He
said
stood
it.
tall and said
I would have
that.
loved it if Jenny was like, excuse me.
And I was like, okay. And he was like, oh, God. And I was like, what?
Eventually.
Jenny has this whole discussion.
Oh, there was a back and forth. There was definitely a back
yeah.
and forth.
He was like, and I was like, mm-hmm.
Well, there must have been because they literally write eventually. Like, how long?
Were you standing there?
Talking to the raccoon. He's like, get the fuck out of this kitchen.
He probably
It's my
had a lot to
kitchen now.
say.
That's where you take the broom and you just push the toaster into the wall.
No.
No, not with a cute little
Eventually,
guy.
Sir Wilo, who might have rabies and try to kill you, eventually Sir Wilo called 311, hoping the city would be able to give her some advice.
That's so Canada.
They told
311.
her.
Yeah.
They told her to try and find a 24-hour wildlife removal company. She couldn't get through to any. So they passed it off, and then she had no options.
A wildlife removal company?
So
In
there are-
Canada, that's definitely like a busy service.
Yeah, I'm surprised she couldn't find one.
Yeah.
There's
that's- they were
there's
all
a
busy.
moose in my
Hey,
bathtub.
I thought you were going to say
we
boot.
just
Well, it stole my boots.
There's a moose in my boot.
there's a moose in my boot. That's what are you talking about? We just displaced 6 elk.
Yeah, they were all the way up in our attic.
They were up in an attic, and then we took it out.
Sir Wilo said, that's Jenny, quote, I was growling at him and hissing at him, trying to scare him out, but he wasn't having any of it.
How long was she growling?
We're going to get
Yeah.
there. Occasionally, he would grab the broom handle she was pointing at him and yank it really hard. He's like, you get this fucking shit out of my face.
Yes.
You want to fucking put a broom in my face? Here, give it to me. Like, he's grabbing it and pulling it from her. She's like, I'm taking, you know what? I'm taking your fucking English muffins, this toaster oven, and that goddamn broom if you put it in my face.
This to me
one more
is like
time.
a comedy sketch now.
Yeah.
He's like, here.
Right, at what point do you people do this with their dogs and cats all the time. Do you start treating their raccoon like a person and be like, come on, man?
Well, but that's the thing.
Already, she already had a back and forth.
She had a back and
Well,
forth.
and this is where she screwed up because didn't she say earlier in her letter, right, that the raccoon was like, hey, I'm eating this.
Right.
So if he's already speaking English, why is she speaking
That's an excellent
raccoon?
point.
He's speaking English.
Well, he
muffin.
was offended.
I know that for sure.
He was offended because he was like, "Oh, because I'm a raccoon, you assume I only speak raccoon."
Right, exactly. She starts hissing, and it's like, bitch.
Finally,
Understand.
after he had eaten literally all the bread in her house,
Fine.
he moved on to some oat wheat and
Or wheat.
a banana nut.
home
A
pride
fresh
buttered
sourdough.
wheat.
Yes.
Remember home pride butter wheat?
Yes.
Hell yeah. Finally, after he had eaten literally all the bread in her house, the last holdout, that's him, got up and calmly walked back through her window, which she quickly locked. I'm going to ask you guys.
To me, the walkout, and you know it was on his hind legs.
Yep.
You know it was on his hind
Oh,
legs.
yeah.
Like-
He's like, I see you, motherfucker.
If he didn't turn around and look at her and point at his little raccoon eyes and then point back at her, that's a bitch raccoon.
That's right.
Or he did like the Malcolm X, like to the side, like, hands up to the side.
Have
and
any of
moved
you
the whole
watched
crowd out.
Succession? Have any
Yes.
of you watched?
Yeah, I
oh
watched,
my
yes.
God. Oh, well,
So good.
there's just
Adam
a line
McKay.
that is perfect for this. That show is
McKay, dude.
flawless.
Right, McKay.
I've never seen a trailer for a show I couldn't be less interested in,
And
and,
that you
then
loved.
watched and was like, this is phenomenal.
Yeah, see, I saw the trailer, and I was
know.
kind of like, oh, I
It's-
get it.
It's so good.
It's rich people.
Well, that's me too. I'm like, I'm a foreign kid from Rochelle. Me identifying with these characters on any level is not going to happen.
It's
But
the
second you meet
wildly
the
entertaining.
sun,
And you're
it's
like, the
I know.
pressure that are on
Yeah,
these
yeah,
kids
yeah,
is unbelievable. It's so good.
I just, I love the idea of the raccoon just walking out and being like, okay, all right. No, I see. You just like slowly looking
I came
back.
here to do two things: eat all your bread and kick some ass. Looks like all the bread's gone.
So I'll take this toaster oven.
Oh, like he probably gave her the look like I'll be back.
I'm going to ask
Like
you
I'm
guys,
coming back.
Yeah.
Yes.
how long do you think
I
this
love this.
standoff lasted?
I love
From the
this so
moment
much.
she walked in, saw 4 of them, 3 left, 1 said, I'll go when I'm
Was
ready.
it 3 and then 2 left?
I think it was 3 and 2
Oh,
left.
maybe.
2
Whatever.
left.
1 left.
So 2 bitched out, and I like that the one guy stayed because the other 2 left. They're like, we're gonna get in trouble, and this guy was like,
He was like, "These idiots, there's still bread left.
Right.
What are you doing, dummies?"
He's
More
like,
bread for me.
I'm calling her English bluffing.
Sklar Brothers. Okay.
On Twitter to complain about that joke.
I also loved it, though. Okay, so I'm going to ask you. You are our guests, Wendy and Megan. You can decide, each of you, do you want to go first? Tig, which is second, third, fourth? How long do you think, in our little guessing game?
You guys can go in
This
any direction.
standoff
Do you want to
lasted
hear
from-
our guesses first? It's up to
I
you.
don't care. I'll go
I don't give a shit. Go. I'll go second.
Okay.
Okay, how long do I think the standoff went? All
Wendy.
the bread?
Yes.
All the bread.
All the bread, all
and
the yelling,
the young
hissing,
bread.
Yelling.
calling 311,
The
trying to find
yanking
a
away.
The
24-hour.
broom
Broom game.
Yes.
The broom game.
I love the broom
And
game.
then
You play with your niece all the time.
Yeah, I do.
But doesn't it on some level sound like a late in his career Michael Jackson video?
Yeah.
Like just a raccoon like playing with a broom and like it
I'd
is
watch
like a
that
really
video.
well choreographed dance.
Right.
Like,
We never
oh,
got.
he doing moves.
But-
Yeah,
by
and then
way-
the other 2 that ran away keep sneaking in the window and doing the little
They're
side
watching
moves.
jealous. Yeah, exactly.
that and also Hide the Broom does sound like a terrible game that your uncle tries to play with you.
Yes.
Yeah.
No. Okay.
I'm gonna guess 5.5 hours.
5.5
Well,
hours.
that's
Okay.
like a long time.
Okay,
I don't know how
Megan.
much bread
That's a
she had.
crazy standoff.
That's a long
I love
time.
that that's your point. We don't know how much bread
No,
she had.
because it's Canada. She probably has a lot of bread. They're
A
not
lot of
idiots
carbo
like us.
loading.
We're like gluten, keto
That's right.
bullshit.
Right.
They need to keep
Canada,
warm.
It's the United States in the 70s. A lot of wide open spaces, tons of white people.
Tons of white bread.
Tons of white bread.
Yeah.
Megan?
Yeah, and I imagine he's eating it slowly, like real, just looking at
He
her.
was at the end. For sure at the end, he was taking his fucking sweet
He
time
would
finishing the
fully
bread.
Swallow,
Picking it out of
look-
his teeth with
look
each
at
bite.
her, eat another
He
bite.
definitely did that one where he just, like corn on the cob, like, no, 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 no,
Yeah.
no, no. on a piece of bread.
What's your guess, Megan? Going in that
This was
tig
it.
spot.
This was morning, right? She came out in the
Over
morning.
the
night.
night.
Oh, it was the middle of the
night.
night. Middle of the night. I'm gonna say.
You say 5.5 hours.
She said 5.5
Yeah.
hours.
When I eat bread, if I'm having a cheat day and I'm still
Indulge.
operating under that assumption.
I'm operating on
Brunch
that
isn't
too.
over until you leave.
Right, and especially nighttime eating is like the best. And I don't know, maybe she had like the Hawaiian's king rolls.
Oh.
Dude,
Well,
if she
those,
had
get out of
those,
town.
then I
I'd
understand.
kill
breaking
that.
into
I
that
would
house.
kill that
Right, 'cause
raccoon.
then you can mash it up.
So good. It's so good.
Well, now that I didn't even think about the King's Hawaiian rolls
Sweet
factor,
Hawaiian King's rolls.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say a solid hour.
An hour.
Yeah.
Okay. Randy or Jason?
Jay,
It's a 45-minute standoff.
45 minutes.
that's a
what it is.
long time to stand off with a raccoon. I'm gonna say.
Well, he's done it. He knows.
I'm gonna say an hour and a half.
An hour and a half.
Yep.
Okay. Townies, wherever you are, get your answers in right now. Yell in that cubicle or scream in your
Just
car.
yell at your earbuds.
Or look at a random kid and yell this answer at them. Here we go.
I just love that at some point when thousands of people are listening to this, they'll just shout 2 hours.
just a period of time.
Anywhere.
On a subway in New York.
Yes. Jenny Sirwilos stand off with a lone raccoon who wasn't leaving until he got that goddamn good carb feeling. Lasted over half an hour.
Jay.
I knew it.
Jay.
I knew it. I was almost going to say a half an hour.
By the
Wait,
way,
aren't
still
we
a
all
long
right?
time.
Well,
Technically.
over,
Over
a half an hour is all of
Yeah,
us.
Yeah.
but
Thank
he's
you.
closest.
We all win.
Yay. That was fun.
Thank you, Megan.
That didn't stop them. So after she gets them all out, that didn't stop the group from spending the next 2 hours scratching to get back in.
That's
Hell
what they
yeah.
do. They scratch.
But you know who it wasn't? It wasn't him. He went out there and told all them about all that good ass bread, and they were like, "We should go back in.
We should go back in.
He's not in.
We
Go
should
look.
really go back in.
Go look.
Yeah.
Just start
But
scratching.
who sleeps with their windows open like that? Like screens?
Canadian.
Canadians are like, no one's coming in here.
Right.
Isn't
Hopefully,
it cold?
sometimes.
In Canada?
Right now, it's okay.
I've heard it's cold up there.
It can get
It is
very-
cold up there, but right now.
Hopefully, my locks
It's
hold,
raccoon season.
said Sir Wilo. The experience was hilarious, she said, if also a little scary.
Hilarious.
It was the most Toronto thing to ever happen
That
to
is
me.
not the most
No.
Toronto
No.
thing that ever
Right. The
happened.
most Toronto thing would be if they sat down and you ate with them.
or if they
that's
came to your house and you
solid
started
Canada.
a sketch group with them. That's the most Toronto.
Or if they decided to go out on the lake and you just played pickup hockey.
Or if they made like a less expensive film look like a New York City film.
Yeah.
Or if they just dipped maple syrup in snow.
Yeah. There you go.
Yes.
That's the most Toronto thing ever.
Right. She said she had to clean up everything.
Or if
and
they
then-
never won the Stanley Cup.
Or if they never talked about their feelings but drank like a 48 pack of Labatt's. That's the most Toronto thing ever.
Right. She has to clean everything up, and then a guy named Bruce Hawkins comes in, and we're going to get out of here in this. He gives a few steps on what to do if raccoons ever come into
Thanks,
your house.
Bruce.
Bruce.
I'm sure he mansplained it to
To
her.
deal with home invading raccoons. Jason, make sure you listen to this. Step 1, secure the perimeter. If you think you know where the animals get in, check to see if the entrance is in use, the city says, by sprinkling flour and looking for footprints. How about you just cover up that fucking hole in your house?
Is this paranormal activity, by
I
the way?
know.
Like a ghost is going to fucking walk in
Dusting
the
for
flowers?
footprints.
Sprinkling
Is this,
flour.
is this
Jesus.
advice part of the free healthcare system we have there?
Good.
You guys, it's free. Here's our
right.
advice: not close your doors. So this is how you can track them.
Right.
Put powder in the open area.
You know how they're coming to eat your bread? Take all the ingredients to make the bread
Right, just sprinkle
spread
it everywhere.
separately so they can make their own kind.
Make
What
your own
it
bread.
is
if you need.
Toronto. What if it
Imagine-
wasn't Bruce Hawkins? What if it was Bruce McCullough? And he's like, this guy, these raccoons.
Yeah. This
One
raccoon
time they came
smokes.
in.
This raccoon smoked.
Now imagine that someone's telling you to do these things to where you live. Step 2, make your home unlivable by hanging ammonia-soaked rags, blasting the radio, and filling your house with bright lights.
That's not real.
That is
That's
real.
not a
That
real
is
tip.
100%
Look,
real.
I'm Bruce Hawkins. I don't take any crap from any of those raccoons.
You wanna
Mike, son
No.
was killed by a raccoon.
He's like, you want to live in the house? You want to live in the house?
You gotta make it
You gotta
unlivable.
make it unlivable.
That's the only way to do it in Canada.
What's going on,
That's
Dave?
the most
You got
Canadian
bright
thing I've
lights
ever
coming
heard.
out of your house.
We
and it
got
smells
a
like
raccoon
ammonia.
problem. I
Hey.
talked to Bruce.
Hey, lean down. You're walking right through those ammonia rags.
Step 3, check that the bandits are really gone. No shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't close off openings before conducting a thorough search unless you're fond of the smell of dead raccoons in your walls. Who wouldn't be like, oh, I don't know if they're in or they're out, but just close it up.
Close it up.
Step 4, prevent re-entry. Block holes with sheet metal. This is in your own home. Repair siding, cover air vents, so there goes that AC
Yep.
or heat. Cap chimneys, trim overhang tree branches, and removed unused TV towers.
This is if we break this down, he's describing how to make your home a bomb. You're just like, shut off all the openings, bright lights, ammonia rags,
Yeah.
let
No,
no
this
fresh
has
air.
now
He's
become.
turning your house into a rave.
No,
really.
this is the most Canadian thing ever now because it's instead of fucking killing the raccoon, which no one has said yet.
No one's done that.
That's not been a tip.
No.
It's just ruin your own home you live
And
in.
your life.
To not be a bother. You don't want to be a bother to the raccoons.
This is Dumb People Town.
A final tip, leave behind ammonia or bleach to discourage the raccoons in their search for another opening back into their old den. And of course, this all assumes that the offender isn't staring you in the face, defiantly eating your
English muffins.
bread. Yes.
Then you get the
out here on
broom.
this. Jenny Swirl said,
I
quote,
eat your English muffin.
quote, I'm going to go bleach my apartment now.
And that is the
euphemism
euphemism
for
for
asshole,
asshole,
Yeah,
right?
oh,
Yeah.
1,000,000%.
Bleach
Definitely.
the old
Time to
studio
go.
Is
apartment.
that not what you call your asshole?
I know.
I mean, we just read it, but I hope she did say that and then gave a little wink.
Time to
And a
go.
turn.
Air quote, bleach the apartment.
It accommodates 3 in case anyone's wondering.
It's
She kicked
very
out her
roomy.
hip.
That's our mini story, guys.
You guys! Megan! She kicked out her hip. Hand on it.
I love it.
All right, everybody. You heard them. You now love them. Go check out Jammerz, fantastic podcast.
And if you came to our show because of them, hang around in town for
Yeah,
a while.
come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah,
Please do
stay
that.
here forever.
Yeah.
Wendy, Megan, you guys have an open invite. Next time you're back together on the West Coast, please come and do this show again.
We would love to.
Yeah.
This was a
It was super
blast.
fun. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. And oh shit, we got to get back to work.
Dum 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 dum. Stick around, make a sound, hunker down. It's Dumb People Town.
It's a good show.